Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Karibuni Kisumu, it's time for another wonderful episode of the Great Debaters Contest. We continue our focus on the SDGs. My name is Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Our motion today is addressing inequalities, and the motion is affirmative action to remedy the effects of discrimination is justified. We have Otieno Oyoo going against Bishop Abiero. Who will be the victor, Mariam?
We'll find out in just a second. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
It is the right time for us to know that people who are disabled are human beings. It is the right time for us to know that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Zachary Mbeke from Otieno Oyoo High School. I strongly propose the motion that says that affirmative action to remedy the effect of discrimination is justified. Affirmative action, these are positive steps that have been taken so that these people who are marginalized, these people who have been left by tradition, these people who cannot be recognized in our community, can be treated fairly by getting access to employment, giving them access to social amenities, and also infrastructure. Remedy is just a solution, and it is something logical that discrimination is the state in which a person or a group of people is treated less fairly than others. We all know that justified is a state in which something is accepted or recommended. The Constitution of Kenya have given us some affirmative action that indeed are justified. If you look the Constitution of Kenya, Chapter 4, Article 56, Clause A, states that these marginalized people will get access to education. I think nowadays we have Joyland for special, just here in Kisumu. Kibos for the deaf, that year in Kisumu. Alwar for the deaf in Siaya. Indeed, this thing is justified. In the past, girls were not supposed to go to schools. Their function was just to do house chores, and also to look how they can treat their husband and to make a good families. Nowadays, girls are going to schools. And today I'm in Kisumu Girls High School. It is indeed justified. Look how we have beautiful girls here. Because of this thing, affirmative action. I want to tell you that Gladys Wanga, who is Homa Bay Women Rep, is just a former student of Kisumu Girls. Is it not true? Let us all come up and realize that affirmative action is justified. If you come to the Article 55, talks about youth. Clause A says that youth will get access to education and training. Today when I was coming from Otieno Oyoo, I've never been in Kisumu, but I saw Kisumu Polytechnic. It is not only in Kisumu, but we have so many polytechnics all over Kenya. My people, what I'm telling you is that we have just started removing this thing called discrimination. But a journey, you start by one step.
First opposer, you have 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever asked yourself why your 5 fingers are not the same? This is directly related to us as human beings. Let's take for in a society where all people are equal. Do you expect our president, Uhuru Kenyatta, to take the director of Cooperative Bank as the bodyguard? Do you expect our First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, to be with the women representative of Kisumu as a house help? Food for thought. Winnie Goretti from the Abiero School here to oppose the motion, affirmative action to remedy the effects of discrimination is justified. What is affirmative action? This is a practice of protecting the disadvantaged people in the society by creating special opportunities for them as to cater for their needs. And if I may ask, what is the basis of affirmative action? This is to create equal opportunities for these people, these disadvantaged people in the society in terms of political empowerment, social empowerment, even economic empowerment. And ladies and gentlemen, we are all gathering here to witness the debate. And if I may ask, do you know the disadvantaged groups in the society? These are the vulnerable women and children. These are the orphans in our societies. Ladies and gentlemen, what about the jobless in our societies? People with disadvantage, people call them able differently. I'm talking about people with condition, HIV and AIDS, albinisms. Ladies and gentlemen, what about the ethnic minorities in our country? Although affirmative action heirs are qualified for the position, in some cases, they are not the most qualified of all applicants. This could possibly lead to high turnover if the position turns out to be the poor fit of the applicant. I mean, if they fail to perform job opportunities. Let's take, for example, people living with conditions in our country, the HIV and AIDS. What are our country doing for them? Are they considered?
We'll have rebuttals now, beginning with the proposition. You have 3 minutes.
Kwa nini mwanidharau na mimi ni kama tuwe? Emilio Baliana from Otieno Oyoo High School. This song is sung by Non De No. The song is talking about why are we neglected? Why are we looked down upon? These are the voices of the innocent people that are quiet. And that is why the government came up with this affirmative action so that these people should be taken into consideration. My opponent has talked about First Lady being a house help. Let me ask a question. Does she cook in her house or not? Or is that not a house that helping in the house by cooking for the husband? Women representative. Once they were ladies, they were working at their homes, helping their mothers with their house chores. We get to realize these things. He's talking about HIV and AIDS people not being considered. Who told you that? Do you have one that has not been considered in any way? Oh, really? Then maybe, I'm sorry, you get to understand and tell her or him that let him or her visit the health centers and he will be helped appropriately. And again, he's talking about fingers not the same. It is real, they're not the same, but in the same hand. Are we together? They're the same hand, and this hand is what we talk about. The hand is the country. The hand is the government. That is why affirmative action is brought about so that these different fingers should be placed in one place and called citizens of Kenya. The Constitution is talking about the two-third gender rule. Oh my God. It is very evidential. Just look at our judges. We have 2 gents and 1 lady. Is it right? Look at even my opposers here. Hallelujah. It is so fantastic that because, let me tell you that you did not do it because you liked it, but because you are just confirming to us the gender rule, that is the 2/3. Talk about Otieno Oyoo, we have 2 deputies. One is a male and one is a female. Talk about Nia High School girls, they have 2 deputies, they're the same. Let us come out and realize one thing. The disabled, them that cannot actually walk as I walk, as you, some of us walk, they are given that right to access to every building, every office. That is why, look at the podium right now. Look at the podium. We have a ramp and we have stairs the other side. Them that will use as wheelchair will use that ramp. Them that walk like you can also use the ramp and use the other side. Please, let us wake up. Disability is not inability. Thank you.
Thank you. Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
Affirmative actions to remedy the effects of discrimination is justified. It's good that my opponents here are good thinkers. But one thing they have to understand, when selecting people to come and debate here, it's not about the gender or anything. It's about skills. We don't just look at it, there must be a man and 2 girls. No, we consider the skills that one has. I go by the name Charles Ouma from Bishop Abiero Shaurimoyo, and I'm here to firmly oppose this motion that says affirmative actions to remedy the effects of discrimination is justified. Let me first ask you, if this was a 10 marks question in the exam, how many of you could have gotten it right? Or how many of you could have listened to what our opponents here say and failed to scoop these free marks? Let me proceed to my points. First, we must all agree that affirmative actions creates a platform for laziness. It hinders hard work, and it makes people to have that sense of laziness. One, you will find that in an institution, if a space is created for the people with disabilities, they won't put a lot of effort in their work. But when they are sacked, they'll start complaining, oh, you are sacking me because of my status, or you are sacking me because I'm disabled. And the fact is, he or she doesn't work hard because he knows that that position is for him, regardless of his output or of his input at job. Secondly, affirmative action is a reverse discrimination. You will find that in most countries where this policy has been implemented, many of these minority groups tend to be treated well, whereas the majority groups are unfairly treated because the policy provides preferential treatment for minorities and other historical underrepresented classes. Let's talk about a country like Kenya. You'll find that most of the people who have papers, people who went to school, people who studied, are the ones who do manual jobs or who ride boda-bodas out here. Reason being, they can't access employment opportunities because these opportunities have been set aside for people with disabilities and the minorities in the country. And as a result, we are still complaining that Kenya is lagging behind in terms of development. Yet, it is us who put people into positions that they cannot well manage. Thirdly, affirmative actions is insincere. My opponents here have just talked about the 2/3 gender rule. As for me, I believe that a third is not a half. A half means 50-50. So talking about 1/3 of the public appointments being created for women and for youth is something that is unacceptable. A third, when we give them a third, where do the other 2/3 go to? Think about that.
Thank you very much. The proposition have been asked how the issue of inter-school visits in high schools, for example, has anything to do with affirmative action. And the opposition have been asked what laziness has to do with affirmative action when disabled people are being discriminated against. We'll have them respond to those queries. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My brother just has a question there. And we all know that attentiveness is very important. My colleague here spoke of when he was traveling into Kisumu Girls, on the road to Kisumu Girls, he saw Kisumu Polytechnic. Kisumu Polytechnic for the youth, remember, gentlemen. My name is David Owango from Otieno Oyoo High School. He spoke of the Polytechnic, telling you that the government has come in to support the youths by bringing them the Polytechnics. Oh, you are asking about our visit here. You have been reminded that there's a RAM here. The RAM is here because we are in Kisumu Girls. The RAM is here and you can see it. We are in this hall. This hall is here because we are in Kisumu Girls. This school is here because of the girls who are one time discriminated. This school was formed in 1962 for the girls. And that was an affirmative action. Ladies and gentlemen, Affirmative action has promoted the need to have role models in the world of the marginalized groups, role models in this world where we see people are being discriminated. President Kenyatta was announcing his first cabinet in 2013. He named this woman called Honorable Rachel Omamo, a cabinet secretary named by the president. Oh, gentlemen, ladies, we can see this thing can be done. These people who are disabled, these people who are marginalized, we all know that they can do the same way. They do things in the same way Isaac Maura did things. They do things in the same way Excellency Madam Rachel Omamo did things, so that they may also occupy these ranks in our nation. We are not going to say that Kenyans are racist, that they are discriminators. Let us think of that.
Opposers will hear a response to the audience. You also have 3 minutes.
My question is, are we obligated to win all the time, or are we obligated to try? Good question, need a good answer. My fellow asked how laziness is coming in if the disabled person is discriminated. These disabled people, they take advantage of their situation and they don't work hard in their jobs. So if they don't work hard, should we just give them that opportunity to waste? And yet, we have other people out there who can do that job better than them. Affirmative action, actually, it erodes our culture and values. When we introduce this affirmative action, remember, there are some rules in that affirmative action that you cannot just say yes to them. We have to disagree with them. Gayism and all those sorts of things. Is it right? Does the Bible even agree with gayism in this world? My dear fellow Kenyans, let us stop fooling ourselves. Let's be in the right track and let's not start meandering all over and over again. Inadequate political mentoring and role models in the field of politics. According to 11th Parliament, for instance, in our country, Kenya, remember, there is no woman who is a governor or a senator. The number of men standing for MCAs who are elected outweighs the number of women elected who are MCAs. Instead, there are more women who are nominated than elected. So I think we should just do away with this affirmative action. Let everyone scramble for that opportunity that is given to them. Let's not just force people to do things that they don't want to do. How can you force someone to do something if they don't feel like doing it? Interest comes within, and you have to go for that opportunity. You cannot wait for opportunity to come and chase for you. Take a good example of our Kenyan men. They are graduates. They have certificates, degrees. What do they do with them? They sit at home waiting for jobs to look for them. Why can't you create your own job? My dear fellow Kenyans, let us stop supporting this thing of affirmative action and get rid of it once and for all. Thank you.
Final statements now. Proposition, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Is Emilio Balian again on the stage? Very, very funny. It is very, very funny. My opponent is talking about something here that is MCAs, more men than ladies. But I want to tell you one thing before I say what I want to say. I want to tell you that the chance is there. Like my constituency, 3 women were going against 1 man. Thank you. Now, the affirmative action, let's go a little bit to Rwanda and see what happened there. We all know that Rwanda, there was some chaos that took place in Rwanda. But because the government saw it was nice to bring about affirmative action to eradicate this so-called the fights against the tribes, in that now people, if you are a Hutu, you are going to live next to a Tutsi so that you may not fight against the other tribe. Because if you fight next time, you're going to fight against your wife or your husband. So let us get it right that because of affirmative action, some of us are here, and because of affirmative action, we are in education, we are in school. Thank you, and let's get it right.
Opposition, you also have a minute for your final statement.
Let me first use this opportunity to take you through some statistics. According to the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights and Education Fund of 2002, we are told that the rate of poverty of blacks is almost 3 times that of the whites in the United States. Why is this so? Because most of the whites tend to stay at home, expecting that the government will give them everything that they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, it's high time we realize that this affirmative action, it was said to help our people, but our people have taken advantage of it. Let us be people who look at what is coming in the future, not people who focus about what's happening now. Please, may you all join us so that we stop this thing of affirmative action and everybody to learn how to work for himself instead of waiting to be helped. Yet, God gave them hands, and in every person there is ability that if invested well, he or she can help himself. Thank you.
When you define a topic, make sure that your arguments are, and this goes to the proposers, make sure that your arguments are in line with the definition. So you did the correct definition, but it got to a point where you weren't really arguing. Your argument wasn't making sense based on your definition. And then, of course, the second speaker, that was Emilio. I think your passion in delivery, that was excellent. And for the opposers, I think you did a great job for a very difficult topic.
Both teams had wonderful speakers, and we appreciate that. That was very engaging in terms of your style and presentation and mastery of language. That was very good. And I think it was also quite outstanding for Emilio. I think we noticed that you're very confident actually at the stage as well for your team, which is good. It's very good to point out that. To both of you, the question is, for the proposers, what is the journey that has been taken through that has all addressed this discrimination and can be justified that affirmative action is the best way to go? That should have been more, and there should have been more cases they could have used. Yes, you have used individuals and mentioned them, but what about statistics of how this has been well done and how we have achieved this and why we should continue on? So that would have been better to affirm your case, all right? And for the opposers, the question is, if affirmative action then is not the way to go to address discrimination, what is the option then, all right? Absolutely. You should have gotten a stand and built it from the first speaker. But what you have done, we want to appreciate that. That was good and tight as well.
Straight to the results. Bishop Abiero Shaurimoyo, the judges awarded you 68%. Please give them a round of applause. Otieno Oyoo High School, the judges awarded you 69%. You're our winners for the debate.
Thank you. A slim margin means it was a tough one to call. Thank you to both teams for a wonderful job, and thank you for watching as well. Keep us updated. Our hashtag is GDC for SDGs. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.